And now for something completely different. A man with a tape recorder up his nose. No, that was a quick Monty Python reference for those of you out there. Yeah, hi.
Hey.
so if you see in the title, this is not a complete change of show. We haven't completely ditched Cranked and Ranked, but we are bringing you something a little different today, which is entitled Grooved and Removed. And I'll take a second to explain exactly what that is in just a second. But as usual, we got to get our introductions out of the way. I am Steven, a.k.a. Old Head. With me, as always, Mr. Eddie Sparxx. Hello, sir.
What's up?
Yeah. And so what this is going to be, this is actually also the first thing we've done where we're filming it for a video version, and it's going to go out as a podcast. So if you're listening in podcast world, if you'd like to watch us talking, you can do that over on YouTube. Or if
you get a 2-for-1.
If you hate our faces, you can head on over to a podcast and just listen to that. But what Grooved and Removed is, once again, this is another genius idea from Eddie Sparxx. Like Eddie Sparxx came up with this, with the podcast Cranked and Ranked. Like that was Eddie's idea. And then once again, he came up with another idea, because in the last couple episodes, we've been talking about branching out and trying different things. And Eddie's the idea man. And so
I just wish my ideas would give me video ideas sometimes, because I tend to get writer's block with that. But over here, I shine for some reason.
I bring out the best of you.
Hell yeah.
So Grooved and Removed. Technically, what this is the idea of it is that we are going to take albums and decide if we have to remove one track from that album forever, which track would we remove? And so we decided to go with per band, and we're going to probably touch on bands that we've already talked about their discography, so we're not like doubling up on something that we're going to do later down the line. Today, we're going to be talking about Faith No More, which was an early band we talked about. That was like the third or fourth episode, I feel like we did Faith No More.
Yeah, they weren't. I think they were. We did them in the summer at least.
Yeah, so early on. We're coming up on 1 year, folks, doing Cranked and Ranked. But so what this is going to be is, instead of Eddie and I taking turns listing off the songs that we would remove, I thought that's not, the stakes aren't high enough there. So I decided that the best way to do this is to have it be a debate. Each of us is going to state our case for the song from each album that we're going to remove. By the way, we're only doing 5 albums. We're going to be doing, I guess, what would be referred to as the major label Faith No More albums. Introduce Yourself all the way to Album of the Year. The original major label run, they're not on a major now. I guess you can't call Ipecac a major. It's an indie. But And so we're going to debate. We're each going to state our case for the song that we think should be removed, and then I'm going to have a timer set here on my my iPhone, and we're going to have 5 minutes to debate. That's a Paul Rudd reference right there. I don't remember what movie it is, but he's like, "I'm putting it in my iPhone." Anyway, I love Paul Rudd. Okay, what was I saying? Paul Rudd. No, I was saying that, we're going to have 5 minutes to debate. And at the end of the 5 minutes, we have to come to a decision on which song from the album gets removed. And this could be a complete disaster, and everybody could hate this. But you know what? Whatever. It doesn't. I have a feeling we're going to have a fun time as usual. Eddie, do you have anything to say before we get started?
Little disclaimer. Just because we're removing songs doesn't necessarily mean we hate them or that we even just don't like them. I'm personally basing my removals on how essential they are and how they affect the running order, kind of alongside my personal feelings towards said track. So it's kind of a mix of objective and subjective stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Cool. I don't hate any of these songs that we're going to remove, which is actually, it makes it more interesting if you're talking about albums that you like, because obviously if we talked about albums that we weren't really that into, it'd be really easy to pick some songs. But this proved to be pretty hard, especially one particular album for Eddie. But he assures me that he figured it all out.
We'll get there. Yeah.
So without further ado, let's jump right into the first album we're going to be dissecting, I guess, or what would you call it if you remove something from it, like a surgery? It would be a removal.
Yeah, I was thinking transplant then, but then that would mean you're replacing it with something else. So
this is like we're removing the appendix.
It's a tracheotomy.
That's fucking great. We should change the title to Tracheotomy. Oh my god, we fucked up.
There's another idea.
It's already called Grooved and Removed, but we're gonna put Grooved and Removed parentheses Tracheotomy, because that's too fucking good. Anyway, so first album up is Introduce Yourself, the last album with Chuck Mosley on vocals, and the first major label album. Although it was like, what was it? It was Slash, but Slash was an offshoot of another of a major. I feel like I should know this, but I don't.
Same.
Anyway, so how do we want to come into it? Like, are we both going to state our songs and then start the timer?
Yeah, let's do that. So hold on, let me pull up the track listing here. So this has 10 songs total, and also we're going to try to go off of the original running order of the album. So obviously if there's later on bonus tracks, then they won't be removed. Oh, also, we're not picking intros, outros, interludes, anything that doesn't seem like an actual song.
Any little extra bells and whistles aren't going to be included in the eligibility.
Yeah, we got a lot of rules here. We created all these rules to make things more difficult for ourselves. But so we got 10 tracks. So go ahead and you tell me which track you're wanting to remove, and then I'll tell you. I'll start the timer and we'll start talking about it. What track are you removing from Introduce Yourself?
I am removing Death March from Introduce Yourself.
Whoa. Okay. I am removing We Care a Lot from Introduce Yourself. Let's go ahead and I'm going to start the timer, and then we'll start. I'm going to let you go first state your case for Death March, and go.
All right. This one was extremely hard, but one had to go. This album has a really cool vibe, unique to this album and to some extent its predecessor. There's not nearly as much Chuck era Faith No More as there is with Patton, so I tend to cherish each Chuck song and its own merit. But upon to re-listening to this album, I was thinking for the first 4 tracks about how incredible a streak of faster disco and song Introduce Yourself and then Chinese Arithmetic is. Mm-hmm. And then to me, Death March begins, and it struck me that while this song is excellent from a cool, weird vibe aspect, like this is the track where I feel like the least happened. Mm-hmm. Plus, from a vinyl stance, like imagine closing side A with Chinese Arithmetic, flipping it over and starting side B with We Care a Lot, which are both fan favorites.
Yeah.
And side B is just another streak of great songs for me, and therefore makes Death March feel like the filler track, even though I really like it. So that is my case for Death March.
Okay, so my case for We Care a Lot is that they already fucking did the song on the first album. And when you're looking at the track listing there, the Death March, I love it because it's very dark and gloomy, and it's not upbeat or groovy at all. It's real heavy. But the thing that I love about it, if you remove We Care a Lot, both of the songs, Death March and R&R, both revolve around the same note. And so I thought it would be really cool if it ends and then it immediately goes to like if they led them into each other, that would be fucking cool. But either way, I just feel like the original songs on here are all so strong that at the end of the day, I was like, well, the version of We Care a Lot on We Care a Lot, it has some different lyrics. And I guess you could say that the one on Introduce Yourself is recorded better and performed a little better, has a little more energy but the song wouldn't be gone at this point. We would still have We Care a Lot on the first album. And so I just feel like that alone gets it removed because it's just another version of the same song. But I just feel like the Death March into R&R is kind of a cool segue.
That's fair.
So really, we have 2 minutes and 24 seconds. I don't know if maybe we should have stated our cases and then started the timer. We're working this out as we go, folks. So what do you think about what I just said?
I think the re-recorded version of We Care a Lot brought a whole new life into it. And, you know, funnily enough, this is one of the like exceptions to our rule of don't re-record stuff. But to me, the previous album felt kind of demo quality, whereas this one shows what an anthem it truly is. So to kind of take away the staple, you know, of this album, because it's kind of the song from Introduce Yourself that, like, I know it's from the previous album, but
yeah, you make a good point too, though, because I feel like they got recognition because of this version of We Care a Lot, and maybe they wouldn't have gone on to even continue with a major label or anything without We Care a Lot. Maybe the power of We Care a Lot on this album is necessary for it. I think in this one I'm probably going to let you win this, because now that I'm thinking about it, I'm really thinking that as an album it's not necessary for it to be there. But for Faith No More, this recording of this song is the one. Like it's the one everybody goes to, the one that has a video for it. You know? Yeah,
kind of in the timeline of them coming up, this is early on and they're still a struggling young band. They haven't brought Epic out yet, so they don't have that crutch of having that massive selling song. So I do feel like We Care a Lot would need to stay, despite the fact that there's already another version of it. But I just feel like the production and performances are so much stronger, and we care a lot on this one.
Yeah, and you make a good point about a side one ending with Chinese Arithmetic and then starting with We Care a Lot. That's kind of, I don't know. I'm not as tied to my choice in this particular case, that I think that that you've got a good point, and I think that it does. I think I could do without Death March. Oh. If you hear that, folks, that is the alarm telling us that it's time to wake up. And our debate should be over. But luckily in this one, I gave up and I decided to let Eddie win this one, because it makes sense. That wasn't really even a debate, because as soon as you started talking about the song being big, I'm like, oh yeah, that's true. It really did something for them. So
yeah, I think in the timeline of their career, like if you went back retroactively and got rid of that one, there might not have been any more Faith No More. That's the scary thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. So for this particular case, Death March has got to go with it, which works out, because Death March is, like I said, a very dark and kind of brooding kind of track. It doesn't have the same sort of energy as the rest of the album. Because there is no point where it kicks into something. It's very,
it's more of a vibe, isn't it? Yeah.
So it's not really that big of a loss, I guess, from the album. So so there you go. Successfully, we have turned Introduce Yourself into a 9-track album and removed Death March, and I'm not that sad about it. Imagine if this was real and the stakes were real, and as soon as we made the decision, the song disappeared from everyone in the world. And we're the assholes responsible for this.
We've just ripped a hole in the space-time continuum where we can just like delete songs at will.
Oh man, I can think of some right now that I would delete right now. Anyway,
oh man.
All right. Well, that was an interesting first run. And then, of course, we're moving on chronologically. So we're going to be moving into the real thing, first album with Mike Patton. So after that, do you think that we should state our cases and then start the timer and then have more of a discussion?
Possibly, yeah, yeah. I think it's a good call because I think that way then we can kind of talk more about how it affects the album.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Well, then let's move on to The Real Thing, which once again we're going with the original track listing, but I'm going with, when I was thinking about it, I was going with how I first heard it, because if you're talking about like the vinyl version of it, it doesn't have Edge of the World on it, and it's a slightly different order. But the original one that I first heard it on cassette, and that one ended with Woodpecker from Mars. And I believe Edge of the World was at the end of side 1. It was after Zombie Eaters.
Yeah, for me it was the CD version, so I had it end the whole thing with Edge of the World. So Edge of the World is the last song.
Okay, well, we can go with it as that, because but yeah, appears as track 6 on cassette editions. Oh, okay, interesting. That's interesting that there's three different, from when it originally came out. There are 3 different versions of the track order on this album.
Yeah.
So anyway, this was 1989. This is the big old album that's got Epic on it. Okay, let's just fucking do it. So we're dealing with 10 tracks.
11.
Oh yeah, never mind. 11 tracks. Yes, you're right. 11 tracks. And let's do it. I'm not going to start the timer yet. Eddie, state your case for the song that you want to remove from The Real Thing.
I think if we're going to match up on any of the albums, I think we could match up here.
Okay.
Because I've gone for War Pigs. Did you pick it?
Yeah, I won't even start the timer on this one.
Like, I'll make my case anyway. Like,
okay, yeah, go for it.
This one was a lot easier for me. As awesome as this version of the song is, upon analyzing this album's 11 total tracks, I came to the conclusion this is the least essential song, based on the fact it's a cover and it's not solely representative of their sound as a whole, because you already get metal moments with a lot of, Jim Martin is as prominent as he would ever be on a Faith No More album on this album.
Yeah.
So really it feels like the Black Sabbath cover of War Pigs. It just feels like them having fun rather than something that actually fits in with the album when you kind of dissect it a little bit. I'd miss it if it was gone, but like what song is it Woodpecker from Mars, then War Pigs?
Yeah, so it would be Woodpecker from Mars and then goes into Edge of the World, which is kind of cool, really.
Yeah, because one completely falls apart at the end with that, like, and then fades out, and then fades back in with that lounge kind of thing with Edge of the World, which is a cool left turn. But I feel like you remove War Pigs from this track listing, and providing you've still got Edge of the World on the end of it, I don't feel like you're missing too much from a Faith No More perspective. So that was why I picked it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Honestly, for me, not only do I not really care for the cover of War Pigs, I don't want to hear a cover of War Pigs ever again. It's a classic metal song, but it doesn't have a lot that goes on in it. Like it takes after you've heard it a lot, it's a song that seems to take a long time to get through.
Yeah.
Because they did a cover of it. Sacred Reich did a cover of it. Who knows who else did a cover of War Pigs? And and I just don't like the idea of including covers on albums. First of all, is kind of lame, especially when you stick so closely to what it originally sounded like. If they had funked it up and done some sort of weird, bizarre version of it, I'd probably feel different about it, or like if they made it their own. But this literally just sounds like a band covering a song. That's all it sounds like. Yeah,
like there's not even any of Roddy's keys on it. They just did a straight up metal version of the classic metal version, and it's like the main reason I love Faith No More doing War Pigs is when they would do it live, and Mike Patton just trying his best to wind up the metal people in the crowd. So it was the hand of God has struck the fucking hour, like just crazy
also,
shit like that.
Don't you get the la 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 la?
And then it would go into Satan laughing spreads his wings.
Yeah. Yeah. So, here's a different take on it though, because on Introduce Yourself, we talked about how if you take We Care a Lot off the album, maybe it would ruin the band's trajectory and where they would end up going.
True.
If we take War Pigs off of here, have we fucked up Mike Borden's chances of becoming Ozzy's drummer later on down the line?
You see, this is serious, like, timeline fuckery.
We're now fucking with people's lives here.
There's lives at stake, people.
But we obviously we had to come up with some sort of. But this is the easiest one. This is the one we matched up on. I don't think we're going to match up on any of these other ones, but that one was easy. So like War Pigs is gone. So now The Real Thing is a 10-song album, ending with Edge of the World with Woodpecker from Mars, the instrumental before that. That's kind of cool. Honestly, I've always liked the way that I originally heard it, where it ends with Woodpecker from Mars, because I liked the fact that side one went from Zombie Eaters to Edge of the World. It was like this big heavy song, and then it ends with this little kind of smooth song, and then you go back to the other side, and then The Real Thing kicks it off. Like I thought that was a cool running order, but who knows why they did 3 different orders.
Yeah, for me, like The Real Thing for me has to close out with the la da 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 da.
You're right.
That saxophone kind of thing at the end.
Didn't they also close out their shows with it too? Like, wasn't that the end of their show? Or am I wrong?
I don't know if they ended their shows with it, but they definitely played it.
Yeah, because I remember there being a big sing-along part at that end part live. Anyway, so War Pigs is gone. Sorry, Black Sabbath. We love you, but your song is not necessary on The Real Thing. So didn't even need a timer for that one. So now we're moving a couple years later to, I think it was our joint #1 Faith No More album when we did the ranking, Angel Dust from 1992. So this is a little more difficult because we're now dealing with an album that we both really love. I love every song on this album.
This is a 10 out of 10 album.
And so we've got 13 tracks here. And when I was going through it, I was like, oh, there are a couple that I think people would think are easy removals. And I'm like, I don't, the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, nah, it's not really that simple. Yeah. So, all right. So let's go ahead and state our cases. Which song would you remove from Angel Dust?
Okay. So for Angel Dust, I chose Crack Hitler.
Okay. All right.
So it's hard for me to remove anything from a 10 out of 10 album in all good conscience, but I had to pick Crack Hitler simply because at the point it appears on the album, it's not bringing much new compared to what has already come before. Mm-hmm. So it has all the elements of the Angel Dust sound, but we've already had funky stuff with Be Aggressive, cinematic strings on many of the album's previous tracks, and super heavy out there moments like Malpractice have already happened as well. Mm-hmm. All of these things take place. Jizzlobber is also about to happen after the song.
Yeah.
Not that it isn't fucking fantastic. In my opinion, every track on Angel Dust is perfect where it is, but this one seems the least essential in the running order. And it's also a bit more of a jarring and scary turn when the siren goes out and come on Small Victory and comes back to the swamp and the kind of psycho strings on Jizzlobber. So that's kind of like,
That's true. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's a cool little transition, I thought. But yeah,
we'll get into that more once we debate. But the one that I decided to remove from this album was Kindergarten. And So Kindergarten is honestly my least favorite song on this album, because when you really pick it apart and you think about the memorable moments from it, from all of these songs on the album, this one has the least going for it that really makes it stand out. And at first I thought, well, you know, when it comes to vinyl, I don't know about the original vinyl, but like the cassette version or whatever, like side 1 ended with Malpractice and side 2 began with Kindergarten. And that's kind of after Malpractice, it's kind of a relief, because Malpractice is a real chaotic song, and then Kindergarten, it feels more like there's more room in it. It's more open.
Yeah.
But it's just not that interesting of a song. And then when you remove that from the track listing, it goes from Malpractice into Be Aggressive, which to me sounds fucking great, because it's literally just, it ends with this real creepy thing, and then it goes into the fucking organ burn. Like I was like, oh, that's fucking cool. And so you could make the case that maybe you do need a little bit of you need to relax a little bit with Kindergarten before you move into Be Aggressive. Like, do you want, to have some botched surgery before you have anal sex, or do you want to? Or do you wait? It's about oral, isn't it? Be Aggressive.
Yeah.
But so maybe you do need Kindergarten in the middle of it. I don't know. I'm gonna stop talking now. Kindergarten's my choice, and I'm gonna start this timer. 5 minutes to debate. So comparatively, out of what you said and what I said, how do you feel now? Still feel the same?
I got to strongly disagree on this one. Kindergarten's one of my favorite moments on the album.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for me, it comes after Malpractice, and Malpractice is probably like next to Jizzlobber, the biggest hell ride on the album. Mm-hmm. So following something like that to come back into like the cool, spacey, big sounding, it's kind of ambient and chill in a way, even though it's still pretty rocking. And
yeah,
like this is the epitome of when I look at the album cover for Angel Dust, that's what I'm picturing, that kind of blue, angelic kind of thing going on. So after all of the chaos that happened in Malpractice, you get this cool thing with the boo doo 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 doo, real expansive stuff going on. Okay, and my favorite Bill Gould moment of all time is that bit where it goes into the like kind of bass solo melody kind of thing.
Yeah, I like that part of the song, but it's not the most amazing bass part.
No, but it's more like beautiful in its simplicity is what I'm driving at. Like with the strings over the top of it, and the fact he has an ear for melody. Like normally he's the guy going boom, like, but then he gets to like spread his wings on that. It's a very expansive song, and I really like it. So I'd be sad to see it go.
It is good. But I'm gonna stick to my guns for one particular reason.
Okay.
If we remove Crack Hitler, we have removed the one song where the music was written by Jim Martin. We've literally been like, "Fuck you, Jim Martin. We're removing your songwriting credit from the album completely." He already felt left out.
Was it not Jizzlobber? I thought the song he wrote was Jizzlobber.
Oh wait, he did write that song. God damn it. Oh, he wrote that song by himself. He was a co-writer on Crack Hitler, and he completely wrote Jizzlobber. All right, never mind. Fuck me. See, do you know why this sucks? Do you know why this series of things is never going to work out? Because my gut reaction is to always side with the other person and be like, yeah, I can see it. Because that's just the kind of person that I am. Because at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm not really that married to my choice. But I really do think that I like Crack Hitler in the way that you like the bass breakdown kind of part in Kindergarten. In Crack Hitler, I love the sort of middle part where it gets in the down, 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 and then you hear the hey, and then later
that
on, once Patton comes in with the whoa, I mean that sounds so cool.
Yeah.
So the rest of the song, though, I mean, it's not great. So,
see that was my thing. Like I was thinking to myself, do I really want to say goodbye to that badass gang vocal part? But at the same time, I was thinking one great part does not one great song make. So I had to kind of think as a whole, which I prefer. I would have to say Crack Hitler Gotta Go.
Yeah, I don't know. That's not. I both of them honestly are those are the two that are, if I had to pick least favorites, those are my two least favorites. So I'm sorry to not make this very interesting, but now that I remember that Jim Martin wrote Jizzlobber lyrics and music. Well, he wrote the music himself. I think I may have to side with you because this is, God damn it, I'm a pushover, man. I just can't, because I'm looking at it now and I was like, it is nice the what do they say, the respite, how you pronounce that word? From respite. Malpractice that you get with Kindergarten, and Crack Hitler doesn't actually provide anything that's necessary right there. It's kind of just a song that's in there that's pretty cool. Yeah. So a small victory going into Jizzla. Yeah. All right. I'm going to let you have this one too.
I think the King for a Day one could be in for a fight. So let's look forward to this one coming up.
Okay. Well, look, we finished this out with 10 seconds to go on the timer. And so cool. I'll cancel that. And so, so the interesting thing though, is that I feel like a lot of people would probably choose one of two songs from this album to remove, either RV or Midnight Cowboy, because Midnight Cowboy is once again a cover, but I didn't want to choose either one of those because just RV is like such a classic, and the way it fits in the album is so cool because it literally throws you for a loop about, if you're getting comfortable with what you think you're going to expect in this album, then no, you're not. You don't know what's going to happen next. And Jizzlobber just ending on its own. Once again, that word respite or respite, whatever. How do you pronounce that word correctly? Over in your area, how do they say it?
It's respite over here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure about overseas.
Shit, I don't know. I barely use that word. But Midnight Cowboy feels like you've come out the end. Like it's the end of a horror movie. It's the end of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. She's escaped Leatherface. She's in the back of the truck and she's all, holy fuck, and then the credits roll. It's like, it feels like a very like you made it. And so here's the walking into the sunset credits roll kind of thing. So that I would never have chosen that one.
I wouldn't have ever even chosen Easy because like even though like
but Easy isn't. That's not legit really on the album. So,
but it was how I heard the album originally, and it was only ever the original first press that didn't have it, wasn't it?
No, because originally it's all of the original versions of Angel Dust, because Easy didn't come out until Songs to Make Love To or To Make Love By or whatever. That came out on that EP, which was a year later, I believe.
I think as well, isn't there two versions of Easy? There's one that's quite stripped back and has them like giggling at the beginning, and then there's another one called Easy Cooler version, which has all the strings and stuff on it as well.
Oh, I don't know if I've heard that one.
I think that's the actual single version, but I prefer the Angel Dust more stripped back one.
Yeah, but the Easy cover is cool, but luckily we didn't have to fuck with it because I didn't even consider it. I was just like, that wasn't originally on the album, so it stays on the bonus version. But we have removed Crack Hitler from Angel Dust.
Cool.
So yeah, there you go. So that's this is. I want to know from everyone watching, like, put some comments down below. Is this even interesting? Is this, is this a discussion? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You go home and listen to Crack Hitler. It doesn't fucking matter.
Well, I want to look down into the comments and see just a giant bar fight of all these people trying to figure out, oh no, like fucking Smaller and Smaller has to go. It's too happy sounding or something like that. And then another person coming in like, RV has to go. Are you kidding? A fucking country song? Like that's going to be great to watch happen down.
We'll just watch it happen.
Yeah.
I feel like we've opened Pandora's box.
So argue down below in the comments, but because here there's not much arguing going on, but maybe that's going to change because we're going to move on to King for a Day, Fool for a Lifetime, which came out in '95, and this, what is it, 14 tracks on this? Yeah, the 14 track album. This was also high up on our lists as well. So was The Real Thing. All these were. Yeah. But so there's a lot to work with here because you've made the claim that you feel like there's kind of two of every kind of song on this album.
Yeah, it's kind of a Noah's Ark kind of deal. Yeah.
So
yeah, there's kind of like two of each.
But then, like the real question is like, if you've got two of each, which one ends up getting one removed? So this will be interesting.
That's the thing.
So go ahead and let's hear your removal from King for a Day, Fool for a Lifetime.
Okay, I have decided to remove from the King for a Day running order, Digging the Grave.
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. That is egregious, as they say. That is fuck. All right, state your case. I'm not don't even go ahead.
Okay, so I'm coming in, one of my hottest takes ever. Hear me out. Digging the Grave, right? Ugly in the Morning runs straight in to take this bottle for a nice jarring change because Digging the Grave is gone. And it's like, when I looked at it, I thought, What a Day does pretty much the same thing as Digging the Grave, but there's strings on it and it's a little bit more, it changes up the feel a little bit more, in my opinion. So that's why I looked at all of like the pairs of songs and how I'd kind of like pair them up. Like, say, for example, you've got Get Out and Gentle Art of Making Enemies. They have that kind of punky up-tempo, thrashy kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
But then you've got stuff like Cuckoo for Kaka and Ugly in the Morning. They have quite a similar heavy classic Faith No More feel. And then, you had a lot of other ones as well, like King for a Day and Just a Man are very big songs. Evidence and Star AD and Caralho Voador is, I think that's how you say it.
I'm gonna go with that's fine.
But yeah, when I kind of like looked at it, I thought to myself, I listened to the album a few times and I thought to myself, what is the track I would miss the least in the running order so far? And every time I got to Digging the Grave, I was like, yeah, I know What a Day is coming and I know I like that one more. So to me, I know it was kind of like a lead single off of the album. And it is a bit of a mission statement, admittedly, from the album saying, hey, we've stripped back a little bit. But there's just parts in What a Day that really put that one over this one. I feel like they're two of the most similar songs.
Yeah.
So I thought, one's got to go and I like one more than the other. So, yeah.
Cool. I'm removing What a Day from this album.
Oh shit!
What a Day is I feel like maybe our explanation should be real brief, and then we should start the timer because that way we can have a good debate going. But what I feel the same way about What a Day, like it's the overall vibe is very similar to Digging the Grave, which has already happened on the album, and honestly. So fuck it. I'm just gonna start the timer. Timer started. So here's my take on this. So first of all, let's just talk songwriting wise. Okay. Take the chorus of Digging the Grave. That's something in, thought something out. You'll have to do. It's such a great melody. Or you get what a day, what you. I mean, it's literally like the writing wise, it's really boring and comparatively. What a Day has so many repetitive parts on it where I'm all like, did he just not have lyrics and he just repeats the same lines again? But here's the big thing. You take out What a Day, the coolest thing about it is that King for a Day fades out. Don't let me die with that silly. And then all of a sudden, when in Rome, like it's literally, it sounds fucking cool as shit there. And the same thing happens with Digging the Grave, where you do get this big, everything gets all chaotic at the end of Ugly in the Morning. Boom, it would be wrong. Like it's cool to hear that shift all of a sudden to this upbeat song. And then after you get another upbeat song, obviously you get Take This Bottle, which smooths it out. I mean, honestly, we talked about this on the ranking, but I feel that What a Day is when the album starts to feel like it's gone on too long. So we got 3 minutes. You do your arguments.
I would say, to me, I would pick Digging the Grave to go, because I feel like What a Day has a more Faith No More feel to it. There's keys on it. It opens up more in sections with that thing. And I know that you mentioned the melody of the chorus, but I would just like to draw your attention to the verses that have some cool, like Patton being his weird self, and then there's some like Patton gang vocals that come in, like "You're right, you're right." Those
Kill
parts there,
will die.
It will die.
Yeah.
Like those.
I mean,
parts
don't get me
there,
wrong. I like this song.
Yeah, it's just those parts there that really stuck out to me as like, oh, whoa, this one's kind of like throwing a bunch of different feels at me. Whereas I feel Digging the Grave is very consistent, but at the same time, I feel like anyone could have wrote it. Whereas with What a Day, there's a little bit more of that Faith No More flair to it. I feel like there was a little bit more care given to emphasize more of the harmony than a more punky kind of melody. I mean, really, when you stack the songs up next to one another, they both have their pros and cons. But to me personally, when I come to Faith No More, I want to hear something that sounds a little bit more like Faith No More. So more Faith No More.
I mean, yeah, I get that, but it's like also this album has so many different elements that the songs sound different.
That's fair.
Like if you're talking about that, then Take This Bottle should go, because it sounds absolutely nothing like Faith No More. If you're going to make I need a Faith No More vibe, let's get rid of that one. Because it's literally nothing. It's not. There's no keys on that at all, is there? It's just acoustic guitar.
There's the bing, ding, ding,
some slide guitar. Oh yeah, there's some piano.
Yeah,
but I really just think as a songwriting wise, Digging the Grave is just much more memorable and has much more of an earworm quality than What a Day. What a Day just says What a Day over and over again in it. And do you know how we fucked up doing this show?
How?
We don't have anybody to help us make this decision. So it's literally like if we just both decide not to budge, then what the fuck? Who do we turn to? We can't turn to somebody else and be like, what do you think? Who won the argument here? So I don't know where to go.
We might need to get like a quiz master or something on the show.
Or a jizz master.
Or jizz master.
I don't know why. I don't know why that was fuck. Just delete that. Delete that, as Tobin or Ulrich would say.
I would say, considering my streak and how long it took me to come up with this, and I honestly don't feel concrete about any of my choices for King for a Day, I'm willing to concede this one, as I feel like you have made great cases. Although
I gave you 2 in a row, dude.
Yeah, you did. I'm willing to lay down the line on this one.
You're a good man, Charlie Brown. That's great. Let's get rid of What a Day from this album. I love this. I do think though, when we do another one of these, we should figure out somebody to be a moderator. Oh, timer went off. Time to get up. And we did it literally within 5 minutes. Boom! Within 5 minutes, we made the decision. Look at us. We're adults. But I do think we should find somebody to like sit in as a third and be like, who do you? Yeah. I don't know who that would be. But put in the comments if you think you should be that person. Hey. Would you like to win a trip to be on the Cranked and Ranked Grooved and Removed show? Send your self-addressed stamped envelope to the address on your screen. I don't know.
Old Sparxx Studios.
Oh, I like that. Old Sparxx.
Old Sparxx makes you sound like power.
If we ever made a cologne, we could call it Old Sparxx.
I like that. I like that a lot.
So we have removed What a Day from King for a Day, Fool for a Lifetime, making it a not that much shorter album. It's a 2.5 minute song we just removed. But moving on to the last album we're going to be talking about, the last album that's going to get a tracheotomy. I love that so much. Album of the year, which was the last album that the original run of Faith No More produced. Was it 96 when this came out, or 95? It was 95. 97. Oh shit, 97.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was already out of high school when this came out. I remember that. I remember this. If I remember right, I might be wrong. It came out the same day or within a week of Color in the Shape by Foo Fighters. And I remember getting both of them at the same time and honestly really liking the Foo Fighters album more than I liked this one. But now it's kind of gone the other way around. Now I like this album more than I like the Foo Fighters. But anyway, album of the year. Let's do this. Which track would you remove from album of the year?
I looked at it and came to a decision relatively quickly. I picked Homesick Home.
Oh man, okay.
Like, it's been so long.
Missing you
at home.
Back
home. So this one for me was a little bit of a no-brainer, as I've kind of pondered it before. This song clocks in at just under 2 minutes, and it feels like an idea that didn't really go anywhere. Like, it feels like a demo kind of whacked on the album as like an afterthought, and kind of shows the cracks in Faith No More at this point in their career.
Okay.
It feels a little bit like if RV wasn't fleshed out. So every other song on this disc, at least goes somewhere else in its runtime, whereas this one explores very little of what it could have done with a little bit of better writing. I feel like if this thing had at least another minute to do what it needed to do, it might have had a better case for itself. But I feel like it's just a little bit of a slog, even though it's 2 minutes long.
So funny enough, I didn't pick the same song as you, but the song I picked is for the same reasons, because I feel like it doesn't go anywhere and feels not very fleshed out. The song I picked is Paths of Glory, which is right before Homesick Home. And honestly, that song, so not only does nothing happen in it, but it's 4 minutes and 17 seconds long. And it's literally something that feels like it's supposed to have other parts, but it never happens. And it's once again, a whole lot of repetitiveness in it over and over again, and doesn't actually, and even the way that it builds up at the end, like it's supposed to be a chaotic buildup, but it's just him going, again, it's like, and I'm just like, well, that's not very interesting at all. I'm gonna go ahead and start this timer, 5 minutes. I like Homesick Home just because from the standard that they set on the previous album, I want songs to sound different. I want it to hit me with something that I wasn't like, oh, this is a different vibe. And I like how the close to the end, when it gets into that drive me home, I love that part of the song. And it does go somewhere, but it almost feels like two different things kind of sandwiched together.
Yeah.
But it's so short that it's just, I don't know. But I really do feel that Paths of Glory, like the vibe of it is so similar to what you're going to get on Pristina, where it's another very drony, you're already going to get that at the end of the album. And so doing Got That Feeling, which is all like, pretty energetic song, and then into Homesick Home, it's kind of a cool transition, and it just takes out a song that just sort of is there. And I just don't even I guess if you're all about vibe, I could see it as a cool track, but Faith No More have never been that band. They have vibes in their songs, but they don't write songs where for 4 minutes it's a very similar thing for the whole time. And that's why, honestly, I don't even really think that Pristina is that great of a song either, because there's a lot of wasting time with the open notes and just him going, who? Like it's, but so yeah, so I would say to remove Paths of Glory. Go back with your rebuttal, sir.
So what I'm going to say is Paths of Glory to me on this album feels pretty close in a way to a more classic Faith No More sound.
Okay.
In the sense that, you've got songs like Collision, Strip Search, Last Cup of Sorrow, like they don't have that same like kind of like pattern going on. Whereas this one, I know it's not that, but Mike Borden's doing like a kind of cool drum beat, and they're kind of playing around that. There's a core to it. Yeah. And I find with a lot of Faith No More stuff, they have that foundation that kind of does repeat. Like there's a lot of repetition in a lot of Faith No More, but there's so much interesting stuff over the top of it. Mm-hmm. You don't notice how rooted in a straight thing it is until you like really dissect it. But
if you're removing Homesick Home, you've literally have two songs together with almost the identical kinds of vibes going on.
Yeah,
it really has the album end on a downer. But I mean, maybe you're into that thing. I don't know.
I feel like perhaps maybe if it was done a little better, where, say for example, Homesick Home wasn't there, but you had Paths of Glory, and when it did do the climax, it went again down.
It went into Pristina.
Yeah, and then just all of a sudden changed up completely. I think that could have been really cool to see, but alas, we did not get the reality where Paths of Glory and Pristina were one big ass epic 9-minute closer or something.
Yeah,
but I feel like that would be cool. But,
also, yeah. I think I might, even though I don't like ending the album with that vibe, I think I might give in here, because this is because Homesick Home is just a Mike Patton song.
Yeah.
Paths of Glory has writing credits from every member on this album. Like they all collaborated on this song, according to Wikipedia. Who knows if you could even believe that? But so that alone makes me go, well, it's kind of, it gives it a better ending to the album. Just, I feel my soul feels better, because it's like everybody that song that everybody touched remains on the album. But I do like Homesick Home just for the variety, though. We only have 22 seconds left.
I would say I think it would be pretty cool if one went straight into the other, if we axed Homesick Home. And
I'm okay. We'll go with that, because I don't think that Homesick Home is that big of a loss.
Yeah.
But I really do think that if we hold on, we got.
Hey, there we go.
Okay, so we've made our decision on that one. It's Homesick Home that goes. But I do have to say that if that's how the album ended, it would probably end up being one of these albums that once it got that feeling ends, I would probably turn it off. I would probably, or if that's when I would go start doing chores. Like, all right, the album's pretty much over. Let's go sweep up. But this is a hard one to talk about, just because album of the year is one where I think most of the songs somebody could make a good case of why it could be removed. I mean, really, like, Collision's a fucking killer song. I would never.
Yeah.
And like Ashes to Ashes is amazing. There's a lot of really great songs on here, but you do have, even like Helpless. I almost chose Helpless because it's got a ho-hum kind of quality to it. But I kept it on there just simply because I've always really loved that part where he goes, I even tried to get arrested today.
Yeah.
But everyone looked the other way. Like I don't know why I've always dug that part of the song. So
I think it's a cool album. It's an interesting album, but like when you stack it up to the rest of their catalog, it doesn't rank high for me. But when I do listen to it and I'm in the mood for it, I really enjoy it.
Yeah. I think that's, unfortunately, it's not an album that anyone is very attached to. So I don't think it's not that hard to lose a song from that. So that's kind of ending this episode in kind of a kind of way. But in the end, I really do think that we should figure out a way to have a moderator on here. Everyone state your case in the comments for why you should be the moderator. because I really think that's what it is that we should be able to make cases and have everybody vote. Or maybe we shouldn't even vote. Maybe we should, the next time we do this, we'll just have the conversation and then we'll have people vote in the comments below. But then what do we do after that? This is the kind of thing we should talk about not on the actual episode.
Play it by ear.
Play it by ear. So that's basically all we got here. It's a new idea, and at the end of the day, we literally did nothing for anybody. I guess our ranking also doesn't mean shit either. So, but it is an interesting way, I think, to actually look at album order and album tracks and just how you feel about those, especially when we're dealing with albums that we love and bands that we love. But luckily, we don't actually have to remove any tracks at all.
Yeah.
But let us know what you feel about this kind of thing. Like, should we do another episode like this a little bit down the line? And we'll probably always keep it to about 5 albums, the 5 core albums that we feel of a band, unless they have less than 5, obviously. But really just it's another way to dig into these albums, and I think it's kind of cool. So comment down below what you think. Was it good? Was it bad? Try not to be an asshole, because I'll just remove your comment anyway if you're a prick, because that's what I've started doing. Anyway, do you have any closing thoughts, Eddie?
I mean, it was fun. It was nice for me to come out of my comfort zone a little bit. I've never been in a debate scenario.
All I'm going to say is, at the end of the day, I have to thank you for letting us keep Digging the Grave, because I absolutely love that song.
It's cool, bud. I didn't want to get rid of it either. When I looked at the running order, I thought there's not a single track on here I could remove without fucking the running order in some way.
Yeah.
Like, some albums just do that to you. Every song has its place. It's like a puzzle. But I had to concede.
I feel like we really learned something today. I don't know.
I learned something today.
Isn't it all great that we're all better people?
Fishing!
Man, it's like it's one of those things where I almost feel like there should be a game. It's like find out, like you take a drink, or every time they mention something Metallica or something Wayne's World, because that seems to be the two things that always somehow find their way into our shit. Anyway,
I love how you said that with the Live Shit Binge and Purge box set and the Wayne's World Not game right above you as that happened.
Clearly, Metallica and Wayne's World, 2 of my favorite things. So, I'm a simple old school kind of dude when it comes to that shit. I guess depending on how old you are, Wayne's World probably is not old school at all. It was 90s. Anyway, so that's it for this episode of Grooved and Removed. Next week we'll be coming back to our regularly scheduled Cranked and Ranked. I don't know what that was. I didn't know if I should put a plural on that or not, and so my brain made me fuck up the entire end of the word. And so with that being said, let's just go ahead and get the fuck out of here. Thank you very much for watching. Like I said, put your comments down below. We'll see you next week for another Cranked and Ranked. And Eddie, take us out.
Blah, 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 later, dude.